kind of reset things and kind of get a fresh start and get away from where I wasn't happy anymore. So it was very, very quick, to be honest with you. Like, it was amazing how fast things just turned around. And then literally that job opportunity parlayed into another one, which did relate to my previous job, to put me in a place where, you know, I really wanted to be, where it was away from doing what I was initially doing. Like, I still do a little bit of the accounting stuff, but I don't just do that and don't focus on that 100% of the time now, which is what I wanted. And that came along. And as of November of last year, I've been there since. And, I actually enjoy going to work now every day. I don't get up, I don't have to drag up myself out of bed and dread going in every day now.
That is huge because so many of us stay stuck, right? So we don't think there's any other options out there for us, or, we just have to suck it up and be miserable in our work and be miserable in our life. And not, you're not supposed to be happy about going to work. But so many people say that. And it's like, well, no, if I'm miserable here, I'm going to be miserable in the other areas of my life as well. And so, as you said, you weren't taking care of yourself because you were essentially miserable,
Oh yeah, putting it lightly, for sure. Yeah,
right?
it definitely trickled into everything else, and it was part of everything too. So
So how did that affect your relationship?
once I made the changes, our my
So
relation with my
before,
wife.
so hang on. So go back to so before. What was it like in your marriage, and then what was it like thereafter?
Oh, before, yeah, it was. We were not, we weren't at a good point. That's for sure. We were fighting, and it just wasn't a healthy relationship at the time, especially being around the kids then too. That was another thing as well too, is obviously affecting my relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
Um, and then once I started going through the process and everything started changing, uh, my relationship with my wife got 100 times better. It was more of a leader in the household versus just being the miserable person walking around the walls there. And I started spending more time with my kids. Everything just in that regard too also got way better.
And so was it hard to make these changes?
No.
No. That's the key, right? It's not hard. It's just implementing some things a little bit at a time. It's not like you did this overnight, but it doesn't take you a year. Like it took you
No, it was
like a month and a
a
half,
matter of
maybe.
what, like 10 sessions,
Yeah,
ten
it took
sessions
you
total.
8, 10 weeks
Yeah,
at most,
yeah.
right? To get it started and then to get it going. And that's the biggest thing, right? It doesn't have to take a year for this to change. It doesn't have to take 2 years, 3 years. So many things, like you said, there's a lot of bad information on the internet. And what they tell you is that, well, however many years you struggled with is how many years it's going to take you to get over it. And that's just simply not true. It doesn't have to take long to make the changes like Mark did. He quit smoking on his second session. I mean, he realistically could have quit on his first. He had that man ego that said, I'm not going to be wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. And okay, now I see you're right, right? So it's a thing, right? It is a thing that we have to step into and trust the other person, trust that person that you're working with. So Mark had to trust me to say, okay, he's right. This isn't good for me. I know I want to quit, and let's be done with it. And then it's stepping into, okay, how do I, make my relationship better? Because it's struggling. And when you struggle in your relationship, it's going to affect your work life, and then it affects your health. So the whole thing, when you put this together, it starts to manifest because now you're looking at things differently and you start to communicate differently. You start to talk differently. You look different because you walk different. You talk different. And people start to notice that. So, especially in your intimate relationship, in your marriage, because when she respects you, she's going to do way more for you. Is that accurate?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, she's not battling you on everything. And
That's right. So now you're leading versus being fought with.
Correct. Yeah.
She's following, and you're doing, like, you're leading and she's following, and you obviously work together,
Yeah. We're a team now versus,
right?
it was like we're two beating against a brick wall, both of us against each other.
That's right. So when you start to work together, it just makes things easy. But so many people say, well, my wife is, she talks about this and she does that and she nags me and she talks like that, and not understanding that if you make some changes, that will go away.